Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you the daily news, and I actually have a lot of good news for you today, in my opinion, guys. So you guys know, one of the problems with hype is the time commitment, right? And this increased war score by 1 unlimited used to be 2, and now it's 3. So that's a 50% straight increase on all your war score earned. So that's a 50% buff to your scoring. So that's gonna really help alleviate a lot of the time. um, we'll see if it alleviates enough, but that should really help balance all the checking you need to do with hype. That's a very, very nice addition. I don't know that anyone's really been talking about this a lot. That's huge. So I just want to cover that first. This is going to make a big, big difference, much bigger difference than the other passive scoring they did. But this certainly should help quite a lot. You should feel this one over the course of your brawls for sure. Absolutely. Now, also, I made a separate video in it, but everyone now, it's in your mailbox, so claim it in your mail. Everyone now has 4 MP trainers. Negative coaches, I mean, negative 4 MP coaches. So you can see that video. I'll just show you one here. Charlotte Flair is one of them. They sent all of them out to everyone at 5-star bronze, right? And starting at 9K, it's class for class. So Charlotte the Showboat reduces yellow, so really easy to remember, right? Naomi the Acrobat blue, etc. So starting out at 9K, you get 1 yellow, 17K you get 2, 26K 3, and 31K is still 3, and then you get 4 at 35K, right? So very nice. So your markers you want to hit really are 9, 17, 26, and 35. You don't really care super much about this. It's got the interesting the berserker mechanic, which is kind of interesting. It never really saw much life because of the way the game is played. But it's also super interesting theoretically. You take more than 30% of your health in one turn, it increases all your gem damage by 60%. It never really worked out, but I like the idea and principle of that berserking ability. Maybe that's something Scopely could revisit in a different way later on. Particular with somebody that's made to get pinned and kick out. That could potentially be super interesting. But anyway, I digress. That's not important here. So yeah, those were like literally the 2 biggest complaints that I had about hype is if someone was higher hype and they went first and you just had to eat it. One of them was the MP down and it not being in circulation. Now it is. So that alleviates one concern. The other one is the time constraints because you're checking more. And now they've increased the war score, the war score points by 50%. So, like I said initially, those concerns are potentially easily fixable if Scopely does it. They can continue to tune the event so you're spending the proper amount of time. Those were never issues inherent to hype. Those were just issues with the contest designs and situations like that. So we'll see how that goes. As usual on Fridays, I have the event breakdown. We'll just get started with that. Thanks, Scotty, for providing the event breakdown again. It's really appreciated. We're going to start with your solo points. So tours have 6.3 million. Again, these are taken from what's in the official Discord, right? Feud Battleground event, 1.8 million regular, 325,000 at the 100 mil milestone, 2.125 total. So that's all right, right? Faction event leaderboard up to 500,000. Don't count on much there. Portal claims 120K. CSS 700,000 up to 700,000, 175K each. Definitely don't count on these a lot. Total free-ish 8.54 plus your faction leaderboard plus your CSS plus battleground leaderboard assumes all tour and all battleground points. But the battleground points is a little bit different than all of them because the last 2 milestones you don't need to hit. The last 2 is that's the solo event. Wouldn't it be nice if that was in the battlegrounds? Yeah. No. The last 2 is just this. So you don't have to hit 250 million to get all of the points. Actually this isn't either. You only have to hit 100 million. So yeah, you only got to go to 100 million milestone to get the last of the points. So that's quite nice. The other stuff is just if you want the baguettes. and the chests of disappointment and that stuff. And we'll take a look at there. So 100 million there with the increased scoring hopefully helps out. So as far as that, let's look at pushing past 100 million. Some TP, chest of disappointment here. You know, your luck will vary. It is straight luck. 150 million, you get a skill plate case, and these are like, these are super, you can get something cool or you can just get a bunch of crap, but they're nice to get because some of this stuff is like, this is super useful on Penta. This Will of Cargo can be useful on a bunch of people like CM Punk. Nightmare Insignia is really good, 100% multiply, right? These are all potentially useful. Queen's Tiara useful, right? So there's some useful stuff. Titan Plate, especially on newer accounts, but there's also, this is some bigger damage. They're okay. They're not bad. But it's, again, what do you get? The 4 baguettes here, and I think the baguettes stop at 200 million. So this would be like my goal, trying to get the prize wall stuff. We'll get more into the baguette situation because there's some nice prize wall stuff, right? And these ones are really, typically these haven't been worth it to me in Flash Feud. Now, if you're short on shards, this is a good spot to get them, but it is random. But these, and you do get a guaranteed 100% gem defense strap. I don't really care about that one. I do like the 150% gem. There are a few people the gem defense are okay on. I just don't prefer those builds. But if you value them, right? So 200 million makes a lot of sense. 100 million makes a lot of sense. And if you can't hit 100 million, um, let's see where the points finish up is, I think, the gold chest. Yeah, which is only 43 million, it looks like. And you're not missing a lot of baguettes in here, or any, actually. So yeah, 43 million I don't think feels really bad either, um, to be honest. So there, and then stopping at 200 million, and then for you tryhards out there that really, really love to grind your feudies, there you go. So that's that. Pretty straightforward. Let's flip over here though and look at the milestones, because we'll talk about final free milestones, 8.2 million. So if you do all of your stuff, get that 325 bonus milestone, you can get past that. That's the difference at the 8.54 before the other extras. So, you know, you're going to get there if you can do all of that. A couple baguettes there, right, in the gold chest. One there. So at least there's some baguettes ahead of time. There's 3 before you hit the bonus. And then potentially, if you do all your stuff, 854. So you're going to get almost to here. And you likely would, because you probably would have some other bonus faction leaderboard, etc. So we'll call it to there. So you're also looking at some econ. 20 Alistair Black and some econ. Yeah. So the next, and then here, finally, more econ, you know, TP in these milestones, at least, for people that want that. 30 black. Now, so short jump here, about 110,000. Then you start getting baguettes again, right? 3. Why am I pointing that out? Well, that's a good question. Let's look at the prize wall currency. So free in the solo, there's 3. We talked about that. Bonus solo free-ish requires the 8.6 million milestone. That's this one, right? And that's a little bit of a push potentially to get there, depending on your CSS, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Faction event has 1. Feud battleground, if you get to 200 million, has 10. If you only get to 100 million, I believe it was 7. So you'd subtract 3. And then free-ish 17. That's free-ish. So, you know, a lot of people probably will take 3 off of that for the 100 million, 14. Somewhere between like 10 and 17 for most people is probably realistic. And then you have to go to 8.8 to hit 21, which is not too far from 8.5. You have to make up about 300k. That gets you 4 more baguettes, some Julia shards. So that's a pretty good milestone, I think you're going to find when we check the prize wall. 21's a decent spot. For those of you going higher, the price of admission starts to get much harder. 5 baguettes at 9 million. Then we go up to 9.4, and you got 34 baguettes. I like saying baguette. So 34. That's now you're stretching out about 1 million points past where you're getting free. You know, the next milestone 9.9 is 44, and then the 10 million milestone would get you to 64, right? And then the final milestone, you know, now you have a metric crap ton and you've also spent a metric crap ton because this is like 1.3 million gap between there. So it's a bit of a stretch. So now that we've covered that, let's check out what the CSS are. And they're brutal. Um, so you have new Stephanie Vicaire, Alistair Black, um, Julia, and Haku. I mean, Alistair Black, some of you might have. It's all people from this month, though. So not a lot of extra there, right? It's 10,000 points per loot coin, so a 40 pull is only 400,000 points if you're factoring that in. So you want to get some kind of bundle with that if you're doing that. So yeah, there's that. Now from here, now that we know about where we're getting in points and prize wall medallions and all that, we can take a look at the prize wall, do a proper prize wall evaluation breakdown thingamajigger, right? Alrighty. And oh, also, actually, before we go there, guys, this is the points. I wasn't sure exactly what they meant. The Warscore points is for the golden baguettes. Um, and they're different. They're lower. The first feud is the one you need the most in, right? And the other ones are lower, which is good because usually they're the same and some feuds are shorter time windows and stuff. So that's another nice change, actually. If you look at the faction contest, these ones, if you hit the this first one is 6 million. You can look at yesterday's daily news. I have it up. Maybe I can pull it up what it is while I'm talking here. I'm sure I have it here somewhere, or at least read it to you. Yeah, here we go. So the first one is 6 million points to get the golden baguette. The second one is only 2 million. The third one is 3 million, and the fourth one is 2 million. So again, another great change. Actually, another great change for real. To get these 4 golden shiny baguettes. Which, what do those get? I mean, let's go back now. Let's go to the prize wall. So that is potentially really good. Mine sucked last time, but it can be really good. It's again RNG, which you know I hate, everyone hates, but at least it's there. It's better than nothing. Here's the shiny. Where's the shiny? Where's my shiny baguettes? Why are they not showing? Or I'm just blind? Maybe it's the top one. Oh yeah, here we go. Bakery shop right here. So Forum gets you the golden bread basket. Potentially, you get 2 items. So you get shards and a skill plate. So you're getting a meaningful amount of shards of one of those. On my particular account, I would want the Ray Phoenix one because I'm missing him. Free to play, wouldn't care, would take any of them, especially Chain Gang Cena for leveling him up. And then you have a chance at one of these plates. There's some good ones in here. So this is definitely worth your time. A ton of the anniversary one, JD's Drip, right? Visceral Visage, you know, like there's hardly any bad ones in here. Less good would be like Buzzard's Beak because you can get it in Showdown sub plate, so less good. I mean, but other than that, and these ones, right? There's like 4 less good plates, and then a crap ton of really good plates. So this is 100% worth pushing for. So yeah, that's good. And they made it less. So that's a positive, right? That's another really good change. Now the prize wall, let's take a look. Seth freaking Rollins for 36. It's expensive for sure. You're looking at, you'd have to get to the 9.4 million milestone. And then I'm sure that in some of the offers, you'd pick up the other 2 baguettes. So you'd be looking at 9.4 if you want to recruit Seth freaking. My free to play, if you could get 11, would be all over Andre the Giant True Wrestling. He gives you 2 red MP and 2 multiply gems. Very, very, very good trainer, right? So I love him at 11 if you don't have him. So now the gears, realistically, you're not getting any of these unless you pull Vicaire. Then it's an option. They're all great gears. I mean, legitimately, Yeet, my J Yeet with gear, 2 clicks for, I don't know, it's like 130 million or some 140 million with no plates. It's nonsense. Uh, he's not as good as Jay in my opinion, even with everything, Haku, but he's still very, very good. The gear is great for him. And Naomi with gear is just kind of legit lights out. You can also buy her for 25 bucks at 6-star gold, which is insane to me, which we'll talk about when we get to the offers, right? So these are really hard to get though. I mean, you're talking, like I said, you basically need to pull Vicaire, right? And then you have McCool Green. Actually, she's super good with her gear. Big fan of this. I think this one's overpriced, right? So, and the gear chip's absolutely overpriced. I hate these pricings personally. Mherex is not great. It is MP. It is gear. Whatever. Our truth with all of his stuff is actually really good with the Yeet Drip combo. So I like the pricing on that. I have R-Truth. I have a Yeet Drip on my free to play. So I'm actually looking hard at this on my free to play. Um, yeah. So Blue Royal Rumble. This Royal Rumble is the only one that eludes me on Mherex, and this one is not on a lot of prize walls for whatever reason. So 60's a lot though. I would love to get there for this, but it's really expensive when you're talking about Naomi gear for 70 and stuff, and this gear for 50. Kind of hard to justify the pricing, to be honest. It's grossly overpriced, unfortunately. The straps I'm not a big fan of. They're overpriced for what they are. If you have everything else, sure. But these two are both modern era. Modern era, easiest one to get straps for. All of these are modern era. So I hate the strap pricing, to be honest. Personally, you can do you there, but I never like those. So now we get into the shards. Right. I still don't have Ray Phoenix, so like that would be backup plan for me is these shards here. But they're I don't love the pricing. It's quite it's okay. It's whatever. I think CM Punk personally is better, especially if you have his gear. We got Drew, OTC, EO. These are all really high pricing, to be fair, right? You're talking like you're needing to get to the 9 million mark for most of these. And these ones you can't even get even at the 9 million mark unless you buy some offers on the portal, which you probably are if you're getting to 9 million. So they're really expensive. Don't plan on getting them. Mommy at 21. That is a 8.8 mil milestone that's worth pushing for 200 mommy shards, in my opinion. I love this pricing, right? Yojo, looking at you, you asked about this 8.8, pretty dang close, free-ish. Hopefully you have a couple CSS. I think you might be able to push there, or if not, get there relatively cheap and get your mommy. Um, these ones are great. They're okay. They're fine. Great is a strong word. They're okay. They're fine. Of course, Naya was available on the current prize wall for the other event. I don't like this pricing. Solo's fine. Trish shards continue showing up a ton, right? And relatively inexpensive. Naomi, relatively inexpensive shards. But you guys know what I'm going to say. If you don't have them, must gets, right? Even no matter where you're at, every time you see these shards, if you don't have them, the dual MP trainers, they're what you should get. I don't care where you're at shard wise. If you don't have them, get them. The fact that they're even cheaper than Becky is kind of crazy and awesome. My free to play has both of these two, but he would love Becky. So this 7 is on the radar for Becky if I do not get to the 11 for Andre the Giant, right? And so is the R-Truth gear. That's kind of on my radar on the free to play. And then it's a bunch of econ, which I don't value at all, and still no tokens, Starfield frags for Santa Hogan, which would become worth more than anything than me. And really good price on Drew Master of the Claymore. I mean, 1 for 100 in Dom, 2 for 125. These are also very interesting to my free to play. Same thing with this. If you didn't have him, just to get him, but like he's not good or anything, so not really a game changer at all. He is required somewhat though, to be fair, fairly frequently. Unbeknownst reasons why to me, I don't know, but yes, he is. So yeah, that's kind of the prize wall. In general, the Flash Feud prize wall is really hit or miss. What I mean by that is it's really expensive and you just can't get the stuff, right? I mean, this is, let's be real. These are out of the 60 plus, 50 plus, 40 plus are out of most people's realm of plausibility. So to me, what really determines if they're good is if you get anything meaningful on the lower tier pricing stuff. And there's a good assortment of shards at a different varying amount of prices. Enough that I think as far as Flash Feud goes, it's a solid prize wall. I do think they need to work on these a little bit, potentially, because it still feels like a lot of work, but this is much better kind of pricing if you don't have them yet. The Becky shards, these are really good, right? I mean, like, so if you're talking like we were saying, like most people somewhere between free like 10 to 17, picking up 125 Trish shards isn't bad. She's still really fairly rare, like solo, right? He can be useful. Certainly these ones, right? These definitely, like if you can recruit Mello with 8 of these, which you're getting free 280 shards, heck yeah, dude. That's a home run. Like he's account changing stuff can't do before, now you can. Same thing with Roxanne. So in that regard, I think it's a pretty good prize wall. Anytime I see these and they're available potentially for free, for people, I think, you know, that's pretty dope, right? So, yeah, I think it's a solid prize wall. As far as what the best is, these are so account based, right? I mean, like, besides these, if you don't have them, I think they're a must. I think Becky is so good at Lady Showboat on all levels of rosters. The only exception would be like if you have like mommy with a bunch of hype, then you probably wouldn't use Becky. Or if you have McCool with a bunch of hype, then you probably wouldn't use Becky. But all things being equal, you're gonna get definite usage out of this Becky on any level account, right? Mommy's insane. So yeah, and so is Yeet, and freaking Rollins is okay, but he's required all the time. He's not bad. So there's just a lot of good selections that people are missing. And then if you're a whale, then you're probably chasing Vicaire, and then you're up in this territory. Blue Royal Rumble hasn't been offered a lot. Yeah, you may not have all of these gears yet, so I guess it's fine, right? In that regard. I do like this low pricing on Truth. This one feels high. The power couples, Maurice to me feels high, but I do like the Truth gear. So yeah, I think it's a decent prize wall. All right, so prize wall evaluation done. Event breakdown done. Where do we normally go from there, guys? Tours, I suppose. Um, Speed tour. Make sure and do that, right? The Clash in Paris. Let's see. We got the Rusev return ones, so that should be, you know, very straightforward. Bon Voyage, baby, which looks like we got Naomi's, any of the Naomi's. So that everyone just got a 5-star bronze, so you can at least do some of it. Do not expect to win with this Naomi though. I mean, if you end up buying the 6-star fuse, she's defensive acro shards, and you get a bunch of those. And it's relatively cheap for all of them. It's actually very cheap. It's $7 for all of them. You know, then you could get through here, but hell mode is going to be really rough. There. So, just yeah, you're not going to have a good time, right? Even if she is 6 silver. So, oh, that one hopefully is open to people. Yeah. So even if you don't have the CSS, just use your best lady. It's not nearly as bad. You will miss out on 115,000 clash points. It is what it is. Green regime. This one you can use Piper Nevin. Everyone should have her. She's got a stun lock, 5-star bronze, 5-star gold. You could easily beat this if you set your Piper up right. So I think that one's great to her. Nothing wrong with that. Challenge to her. These can be really a pain in the ladies division depending on who you can use. It's apparently SmackDown, and let's see what the requirement is when we click contest. So you can use Tiffy Time, right? A lot of people have her Alexa. This one doesn't Piper. This one feels pretty good, to be honest, on Hell mode. But can you get to Hell mode? Let's see if they change it on the easier ones. If this is SmackDown as well. It is. Great. And then if normal is, then this is actually a really solid challenge to her. Because it's fairly usable lady. Yeah, perfect. So I think that's a really good challenge to her. People are going to be able to do that. And then the end Saturday is the short-term La Primera one. You get extra baguettes if you get her today. Less at the end, but you still get some. So you'd miss out on 3 on normal, 3 on hard, and 5 on hell. So that's 11 you would miss if you accrued her later. Otherwise, you get 9. So yeah, that's why that's an extra 20 baguettes. That's why it's so much easier to get stuff if you pull the character on the prize wall. Otherwise, it's not so much, right? So tours pretty straightforward. They don't seem bad. I'm good with them. Yep. So there's that. There's nothing else ending now. Stip tour ended, so no special stip. You will have the weekend Gem Mania coming up, so you can check that. For whatever I'm chasing, I have like 45 more Hall of Fame JBL shards. He might show up this weekend. I'll do a little bit of refreshing, can recruit him if they show up. And I do some stip tour over the weekend, blah, but it is useful. So yeah, I guess then we're on to offer review. There's definitely stuff to talk about. This was $6.99. I bought it on the portal, $7. Let me just go ahead and claim it. The MP reduce, it was worth it for $7. for me. So you get the fuse, and you should get a shard conversion, if assuming that worked out. I don't really know. It says 2, so I would assume it did. But you get them at 6-star bronze. You can use your fuse ups for your flash feud. Or sorry, 6-star silver, and it was $7, so it was worth it to me. So obviously, I think it's a good offer if I bought it. Because I don't want to use a bunch. It's actually kind of a time thing too, because I'm lazy. But between the shards and the tokens saved, it's great. So I can get -3 MP on all colors just by using some coin, and then next talent up, I'll take them to gold, right? Which helps there. This offers ridiculously good. Naomi at 6-star gold, one of the best, if not the best, lady striker in the game. Incredibly good. You get her gear. I think she is the best lady striker in the game. I don't ever gear on Mherex, and I still, she's my top 3 of who I would consider strikers in the game, even without the gear. A lot of different ways you can play her, has a bunch of moments. It all depends what you have. But an absolute steal. If you're going to spend any money this weekend, if this is in your budget, it's worth it. Plus, you get the pulse. It's a no-brainer if you don't have her and you're a spender. If you want some extra buttery baguettes, it's a 24-hour increased value. I hate that they do this because you may not know where you're going to get, but generally it's you get the pulls in the baguettes, and later on you don't get the pulls, or you don't get as many baguettes at the end of the week. Typically it is a better value, but not always. Of course, if you're spending, you buy the big packs on the portal. You don't buy them in game. There's a $200 offer on the portal that gives you 15 baguettes, 400,000 points, 100 Vicaire shards, and 101 pulls, right? That's the whale thing. That's what you buy for sure if you're spending that kind of money. There's the $100 pack that gives you 100,000 points, 47 pulls, and 100 Vicaire shards, right? So yeah, those don't show up here. Those are portal only. So there's always better deals on the portal. Plus, in your bonus rewards, as you're spending money, you get 25 Vicaire shards at $20 spent, right? And you get solo contest points. Just for example, at 100 spent, you get 50,000 solo, 75 Vicaire shards, right? So it's much more betterer for your scoring to buy them there. Shard deals, mommy shards with pulls, right? It's okay, right? Not so much here, but the pricing is fine. But you know, if it recruits her, then it would make sense. Same thing with EO. I these are fine if it guarantees you recruit ish and you're fine spending it, but that portal pack is way more value, right? So keep that in mind. This isn't bad. 75,000 bonus points, your 4 pulls, that's 40,000 points plus your one time. If you're someone like Yojo that's chasing that 8-8, this isn't a bad one to buy on a short notice. Usually though, there's a really good one at the end, right? Always good ones in the finale, so there's that. This is if you miss the golden baguette or you want to upgrade and do the 5-pack, which I don't. But if you miss one of them, you can get that. It's whatever, $20 surcharge for missing. And here's the stuff. See, it's just better. $100 on the portal. It's limit 1 though. 47 pulls, 100 shards. That's what I mean by it's better. That's where you get the pack. Token treats, whatever. I don't like those, but it's tokens. If you want those, you might like it. These are just whatever. You know, it's a bunch of TP stuff. They're not it for me. Same thing with this one. Also not it for me. I don't buy steps. I think that's stupid. I hate that they sell steps. I find it BS. But that's a story for another time. Oh, we also will check out the bags when we get there. They sell these. I don't think these are worth spending any money on. But we'll also check that. I don't buy the collector's pack anymore. I just feel like I'd rather buy a backstage pass and stuff if I was going to spend the $4.99. I just save it. It's fine if you do. It gives you the max steps. It gives you some other stuff. I'm not a fan of it. I definitely have that though, so I'll claim that. All right. So your feud bags, and these you get just by playing feud. This is a solid bag with mommy in it, right? My free to play likes this bag because he's chasing Bex. If you miss any of these, this is the bag to get. They're the same price. And they do feel like me that they're generally equal odds, by the way. This bag interests me because I'm missing Haku in close-ish, like 300-ish. So, and then this one has got these in there, and I'm missing Ray, so those are the 2 bags I would be thinking about. Typically, the ones I go after are the ones I'm close to, and I do these over the pulls because at least I have a chance to get closer to the people I'm missing. So I prefer targeted bag pulls over the loot pulls. That's how I do it. That's up to you though. I always play the long game, and to me, better odds will get something I don't have when I buy the targeted bags. So that's me. But again, that's up to you guys completely. I don't think there's any other new deals. I think there's the hype deal at the top, which I just always ignore at this point, because I hate the pricing. They're selling you wild card with pulls for $20. I don't like them. I'm on record as not liking them. Whales are gonna whale, and all that. And this isn't $20 is definitely not whaling. But that's $20. I don't feel like it's worth spending for me. But that's up to you. All right. Pull time. Let's check and see if the loot is up for the here's the loot for these. And I know a lot of people like these because you can potentially pull a full card. Featured is 3% chance, super rare 3.22, not much. It's almost all common. 94% of the time you're pulling common. That's what you're getting. There's no guaranteed. So you're mostly getting common, so you can look at this stuff and ooh gaga, look at all this amazing stuff. You're not getting it. And if you do get it, it's going to be weighted to the metal bits and strap parts, fam. Don't kid yourself. All right. Super rare is some tokens. Like, bruh. And so, yeah, you're mostly getting commons and then 20 potential shards of these. So I prefer the targeted bags, right? That's just how I look at it. Up to you. You can get hangers in here, though. So if you're like big on gear chips and you're fiending for those, then that's kind of the place for your gear chips. I'm not. All right, so the actual loot, I mean, featured, you're gonna pop 5 guaranteed for Vicaire. So you're gonna get most likely at least minimum 150 shards or pull her, but probably 150 shards. I would say your average is probably gonna be like 200 shards. So you're gonna get yourself an extra, if you buy the $100 pack on the portal with 100 shards, and then another 200, that's an extra 300 Vicaire shards you wouldn't normally get. Oh, by the way, they brought back the stupid thing where for $10 you can buy 350 shards. That's also portal only. I hate these because I feel like you don't really have a choice if you're chasing the card. 350 shards for $10 is quotation marks cheap, but typically they just pull these out of the event, and you just end up paying $10 what you were getting for free. So I hate it, but you can't really ignore it if you're going for Vicaire. It is the best shard value you're going to get, so I'll mention it. I just freaking hate it. Nobody bought them. They probably would never sell them, but there's no chance of that because you don't really have a choice if you're chasing her. Anyway, I'll get sidetracked. So yeah, that's not bad on the featured. 7 pulls a guaranteed mega rare, right? Those are starting off very strong, and then it gets very weak in a hurry, right? So very strong into very weak. Then it gets strong again, and then weak and strong and weak and strong. And this is where it's super frustrating because the loot is super diluted, and 100% it's not equal odds within there, right? And you're just gonna, it's way heavier weighted towards the bad stuff or the not as good stuff. And like this, look at how diluted this loot is. So just don't kid yourself, fam. You're not getting something good out of there unless you're lucky. It's literally lottery odds. You go to rare, 30% on the rare. Again, the same sort of thing, like there's usually like one bait card where you're like, oh man, I could hit that in the rare, and then a bunch of like garbage. In this case, we don't even have a bait card in the rare, but it's shards, and shards would be good here in the rare bucket, right? Of the hard to get ones. That's what you would kind of hope for, but it's okay-ish, right? It's not an amazing set of shards there, but it's okay. Like Mherex would be good with getting Ray shards. My free to play would be good with getting any of them, but he would never get this loot anyway, so because he can't spend. And then commons, you have doesn't really look like there's even a carrot. I mean, I guess maybe Drew a little bit, but he's, and then some use 300 DK Cena shards. Bruh, that's got to be weighted super, super, super light. Like probably really hard chance to hit that. That feels like bait. 100%. When you look at the other stuff in here and their quantities, right? Like, does this not feel like huge bait to anyone else? Like, this is why they need to disclose the odds of the individual cards. Like, it shouldn't say if it says 50%, it should be like your odds of getting seen here, like 0.044445 or you know, repeating zeros up to 3, you know, that kind of thing. Guarantee you, you're mostly going to get Dom shards and Beck shards, and probably mostly Dom because he's the older A tier in here. And then after that, you're probably getting Jacob because they sold him for 20 bucks, and Andre. Yeah, it's probably going to be like Dom, Jacob, Andre, and Bex. If you pull this, let me know how many of those are your shards and how many of the other ones you get. I'm just really curious, but I feel like it's super weighted to those shards. But I'm super cynical because it's definitely not equal odds, and they definitely don't show it. So I'm never giving them the benefit of the doubt on that until they start showing it. So yeah, that's the loot. Honestly, all in all, guys, I feel like it's a great weekend in the sense that it's definitely step in the right direction, right? In the sense that the scoring has been adjusted, so you're getting 50% more points than you were before, for doing the exact same thing. And also, this, don't underestimate the benefit of the Saturday and Sunday feuds only needing 2 and 3 million to get the golden baguette here. So if you can gut it out and get the hard 6 million tonight and then squeak in your 2 million, which is not much more than your faction, I think my free to play might try to do 6 million tonight because that chest would just be insane for him. Um, I think this is a really, really great change, guys. This part alone is a big deal, I think, for a lot of accounts. So don't miss out on that. If you can gut it out this first feud tonight and get there, go for it because I think it's worth it. And then the extra scoring is going to help with that too. And then the MP down, potentially not as much this one. Don't feel like you have to take them all to gold right now because talent up, there's so many. I'm just going to take them up to the -3 point and then wait for talent up and take them to gold over the course of 2 talent ups, right? That's my plan. And that's why I paid the seven bucks for the 6-star silver fuses. I can fuse them right now during the event, get enough to get them to that. What mark was it? 26K for -3. So that won't even take that much coin, to be honest. And the fuse will help with the faction flash feud. All in all, I think it's a good weekend, and a step in the right direction for flash feud, which typically, in my opinion, is the worst event we have for time spent in the game to reward by far. And this hopefully will help. We'll see how it goes. Let me guys know what you think in the comments. This is a super long news, but there's a lot of info here. I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great weekend. And, you know, enjoy life. Get out there, play some champs, but do some other stuff. You know, talk to your family. Go touch grass if you like the outdoors. The giant scare ball in the sky scares me. Mrs. Mherex and I will probably play some Fallout 76, and do some stuff like that. And yeah, I'll try and maybe record some videos today to post over the weekend. But other than that, I don't know how. Usually weekends I kind of chill. And next week we got start of a new MLC. So I'll have tons and tons of videos to be doing. So don't want to avoid the burnout. So weekends I try to stay fairly away from the recording. And then Flash Feud is worse too because I have to play way more than I want to on the weekend. Usually weekend I kind of get away from champs a little bit and give myself time to refresh. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching, guys. Good luck out there. Boy, that was a lot. This was a big news. It's probably too long, but it is what it is. I don't know how to do it shorter and cover everything I want to.